Okay guys, so there's a lot of videos I want to make today. I've already put one up, so let's just jump straight into it because God, there's going to be about 5 or 6, but let's see how many we can get through. Kim Jong-un makes history crossing border to meet with South Korean president. So, South Korean AP, with a single step over the weathered, cracked slab of concrete, North Korea leader Kim Jong-un made history Friday by crossing over the world's most heavily armed border to greet his rival, South Korean President Moon Jae-in, for talks on North Korea's nuclear weapons. Kim then invited Moon to cross briefly north with him before they returned to the southern side. I like this. I really, really do. We're going to have two stories about this. One about the President Trump side and this side. But yeah, I'm actually really, really happy about this. That these two sides getting along. And Trump, whether you like him or not, did play a large part in this. So let's keep going. All those small steps must be seen in context for the last year, when the United States and its allies South Korea and North seemed at times to be on the verge of nuclear war, as the North unleashed a torrent of weapon tests. But also in light of the long, destructive history of the rival Koreas, who fought on one of the 20th century's bloodiest conflicts and even today occupied a divided peninsula that's still technically a state of war. It was all smiles as Moon grasped Kim's hand and led him along a blindingly red carpet into South Korea territory, where school children placed flowers around their necks and an honor guard stood at attention for inspection. Beyond the surface, however, it's still not clear whether the leaders can make any progress in closed-doors talks on nuclear issues, which has bedrocked the US and South Korean officials for decades. North Korean nuclear missile tests last year likely put it on the threshold of becoming a legitimate nuclear power. North Korea claims it's already risen to that level, which I doubt, but anyway. Kim's news agency said the leader would open-heartedly discuss with Moon all the issues arising the improving inter-Korean relations and achieving peace, prosperity and reunification of the Korean Peninsula in a historic summit. It's the first time one of the ruling Kim leaders has crossed over the southern side of the demilitarized zone since the Korean War ended in 1953. The greeting of the two leaders was planned to the last detail. The greeting of the two leaders was planned to the last detail. Thousands of journalists were kept in a huge conference center well away from the summit, except for a small group of tightly controlled pool reporters at the border. Moon stood near the Korea's dividing line, moving forward at the moment he glimpsed Kim appearing in front of a building on the northern side. They shook hands with the borderline between them. Moon then invited Kim to cross into the south. Kim invited Moon into the north, and then they took a ceremonial photo facing the north and another facing the south. Two 5th grade students from Dasko Elementary School, I know I'm getting that wrong, the only school in South Korea within the DMZ, greeted the leaders and gave them flowers. Kim and Moon then saluted the honor guard and a military band, and Moon introduced Kim to Southern Korean government officials. Kim returned the favor with North Korea officials accompanying him. They were to take photos inside the Peace House, where the summit was to take place, in a front of a painting of South Korea's Bukka Mountains, what am I mispronouncing, which towers over South Korea's Blue House presidential mansion. Nuclear weapons will be top of the agenda, and Friday's summit will be the clearest sign yet whether it's possible to peacefully negotiate those weapons away from a country that has spent decades diligently building its bombs despite crippling sanctions and near constant international abbreviation. I'm getting that wrong, I presume. Expectations are generally low, given the past so-called breakthroughs on North Korea's weapons have collapsed amid ambiguous charges of cheating and bad faith. Skeptics of the engagement have long said that North often turns to interdimensional rounds of diplomacy meant to ease the pain of sanctions, giving it time to perfect its weapons and win aid for unfulfilled nuclear promises. Advocates of the engagement say the only way to get a deal is to do what the Koreas will try Friday, sit down and see what is possible. Yeah, that's the thing too. At the end of the day, you don't know unless you try. Sure, he could be bluffing. He could be just pulling the wool over people's eyes. But sit down, have a chat. It won't hurt. We can go back to bombing each other later. Moon, a Liberal whose election last year ended decades of Conservative rule in Seoul, will be looking to make some headway on North's nuclear program in advance of planned summit in several weeks between Kim Jong-un and US President Donald Trump. Kim, the third member of his family to rule his nation with absolute power, is eager, both in his meeting and in the Trump talks, to talk about nearly 30,000 heavily armed US troops stationed in South Korea and the lack of formal peace treaty ending the Korean War. Two factors the North says that make nuclear weapons necessary. North Korea may also be looking to use whatever happens in the talks with Moon to set up the Trump summit, which may seem as a way to legitimize its declaration status as a nuclear power. One possible outcome Friday, aside from the rise in general goodwill between the countries, could be a proposal for North Korea freeze of its weapons ahead of later denuclearization. Seoul and Washington will be pushing for any freeze to be accompanied by rigorous and unfettered outside inspections of North's nuclear facilities, since past deals have crumbled because of North's unwilling to open up to snooping foreigners. South Korea, in announcing Thursday some details of the leaders' meeting, acknowledged that the most difficult sticking point between the Koreas has been North Korea's level of denuclearization commitment. Kim has reportedly said he won't need nuclear weapons if the government's security could be guaranteed and external threats were removed. Look, I don't like the guy. I can see his point though. The US and other governments do have a habit of starting proxy wars to go in and to bomb a place. Syria! We all know that from recent events. So at the end of the day, I completely understand why he wants to hold on to the nuclear weapons, especially when the rest of the world won't guarantee that he's actually going to be safe. You know, he hands over his nuclear weapons, fine. Then what happens? He gets invaded and everything dies. So I can understand why he wants to hold on to them. I really can. And I can't say I would want to do anything different if I was in his situation. Whatever the Koreas announced Friday, the spectacle of Kim being feted on South Korean soil will be something to behold. Kim and Moon will enjoy each other's company in the jointly controlled village of Pandemonium, near the spot where the defecting North Korea soldier recently fled south into a hail of bullets fired by his former comrades. So, like I say, look, what's the takeaway from this? Okay, so I like the fact that they're talking. I am a little bit devious regarding North Korea's intentions. I can understand why he wants to hold the nukes. Like I've said, I probably would go and do the same thing in my situation. And I think that the US especially doesn't help the situation in this sometimes when they're doing constant war games literally on the North's doorstep. You're sort of like, look, it could be a tactic to force him to go to the negotiating table. I get that. But, at the end of the day, they've 1953, this has all happened. It's been over 50 years and he still hasn't got a guarantee that his country won't be invaded. So, I can sort of see why he wants to hold on to him. I don't know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think that this is going to make any headway? Do you think that they'll come to some sort of agreement? Or do you think the talks are going to break down? Do you think that Kim Jong-un is just playing along so that he can get the sanctions relieved and work on his chemical weapon or nuclear weapons again? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new, channel welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.